This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi, and welcome back to Realistic Sustainability Educational Shorts. Yeah, it's been kind of a while. It seems like no matter how much we want to get every show on time, every time, life tries really hard to stop that. So, with it not being our normal everyday job, even though we feel like it is, we miss some. So, I do appreciate everybody's patience. We've even had a handful of people stop by Dabble just to kind of check on us. We're fine. Life is busy. There's a lot of things eating up our time between family and even some vacations. So we want to tell everybody right now, we totally appreciate you sticking with us. And we're going to get back on the horse and get our shows moving through. So this week, I want to talk about something that we're starting to see in some different places all over the world and even here in the US. And that is painting rooftops and or roads light colors, which most people say white, to reflect energy back and cool down our cities. Does it work or doesn't it? Well, at this point, as the world is heating up little by little, cities are getting hotter and hotter. That even has a name. With everybody packed into one spot into a large city, it's called an urban heat island effect, and it's measured on a regular basis. This tactic is designed to help either slow or even stop the urban heat island effect. And that is simply just painting the tops of the buildings white or painting roads either a light gray or a white so that you don't get this energy collection. You know, when you wear a white shirt instead of a black shirt, how much cooler you can be because of energy absorption. And that's a whole physics of light thing. And if you really want to learn it, come on to Dabble and we'll teach you in the kids' STEM class. But that's how energy is collected. So street temperatures are always much hotter than if you're walking through the grass. The term they use for that is albedo. The albedo of a surface is dictated by how much energy it pulls in. A darker material, or the numbers they go with, is a 0.04 is the darkest with the most absorption, to a high albedo, which is a high reflection, which is 1.0. And this is not a new thing. In 2019, BBC reported that the former UN Secretary General stated that white paint can reduce temperatures of a roof up to 30 degrees. And this can have a tremendous impact. And it's true. Think about your homes if you weren't absorbing that energy. Now, also something to keep in mind, placement. Every time we talk about places that have done this, they're in primarily warm environments. You don't see a lot of this in Michigan because we kind of use some of that heat to keep snow off our roofs and to help reduce how much weight stays in our homes. So don't let anybody think I forgot about that. I'm still thinking about it. But we can be very selective. For example, here in Durant and all over Michigan, a lot of the newer school buses have white roofs. It's just the top portion. It helps reduce the amount of heat collected within the bus, making the passengers cooler, the bus works less hard, and they don't need to use quite as much energy when operating the bus. That's the example I want to talk about. There's been studies in New York City, South European countries, and even North Africa, where painting a roof saves on air conditioning up to 40%. And a lot of that will be dictated on how that building is designed. If they can reflect that energy back, not collect it here, it stays markedly cooler. Same thing with street temperatures. On average, street temperatures can drop between 15 and 30 degrees. That's a lot in the summertime. Painting the streets in LA seems to have cooled it down between 10 and 15 degrees. And that was reported by Scientific America. Phoenix is using a light gray, and it's even cooler overnight. It drops at about a half degree in difference because it's not holding that energy. Remember, if you read A Beginner's Guide to Green in Your Life, I talked about the materials you can use in your home. If direct sunlight heats up something like concrete, it can hold that energy even as the sun goes down and radiate that heat back out for a period of time. Well, that's what they were looking at in Phoenix. It's even cooler at night because it's not holding quite so much energy. But let's also keep in mind another thing. This is where I go on my usual rants. Embodied energy. Because do we have to use paint? Right now, it's pretty much what they're using to test the theories. But do we really have to? Paint is one of those high energy intensive items, quite often has toxins in it. There's other issues involved with using paint to paint over a street or a road. Plus, let's not forget, there's a lot of effort, a lot of work, a lot of people that have to go into painting it, and it will require maintenance. So if these projects prove that they can reflect back out, they are the new ice caps, basically, because as our ice caps shrink, we lose the albedo of our caps. We're trying to turn the cities back into those reflective spaces. If that works, then we just need to look for better materials, naturally high albedo materials, something with reflective properties, or naturally lighter instead of asphalt. Plus, we're trying to get rid of petrol-based or oil-based materials anyways. So I think it's a good start. It's a good idea and it's a good concept, but I think we're doing it wrong. Over time, we will probably find better materials, easier ways of doing this, and be able to reflect that energy back into space without too much of an effort. Just like anything else in the world, we have to test the theory and then immediately get better. That's what I hope we do here. Focus on getting better. It also is one of those things that stops all the people from going, you can't have electric cars. You're just getting it from coal. Well, we're getting it from coal today. You figure out if it works, and then you make it better. Same thing here. Green roofs, white streets, all of these concepts are to be tested and then improved over tens of years to the point in which we can reflect this energy back, reverse this current climate condition, and make it a more comfortable place to be. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much for hanging in there with us. We do appreciate it. If you want to support realistic sustainability, well, you can always go on to the Anchor hosting site or greeninyourlife.org/podcast. That's where you could sign up to be a monthly sustainer or send us something. If you've got letters that you want to send us or pictures of something you've done, well, we have an address there now. Everything will just come to Dabble, and it will allow us to take a look. That would be great if you have anything you'd like to send. And I always jokingly say that's where the sponsor should send things so that we can test them out. But all that aside, if you want to support realistic sustainability, the biggest thing you can really do is leave us a 5-star review. So the more you do that, the easier it is for us to get out there and get more people listening. So thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next week. Hi, this is Mike, co-host of Realistic Sustainability, the podcast, which you probably already know, but I'm also the author of A Beginner's Guide to Greening Your Life. That was the book that led to our Facebook page, our Facebook group, and, well, even this show. It offers tips on promoting your positive footprint while decreasing your carbon footprint. So if you want to read what started all of this, get A Beginner's Guide to Greening Your Life, available on Amazon, eBay, Etsy, or just visit greeninyourlife.org for more information. Thank you for joining the sustainable movement and promoting a greener future.